Have you ever wanted to start an online business but you haven't figured out which ones are the most lucrative? Well, in today's video, we will be taking a look at the best businesses to start in 2021, and more particular online businesses, because everything is turning online. If you aren't online, you're basically losing out on the golden opportunity of the 21st century. And so a bit of context before we jump into the three online businesses. Ever since the virus hit in March of 2020, the entire world has been taking a hit in how we go about our day-to-day lives. From going online shopping and e-commerce growing exponentially in 2020, it will only continue to grow. And this is why there has never been a better time to start online business. In today's video, we'll be covering 3 online businesses that will make you extremely rich, insanely rich if you take action, be consistent, and of course smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm. But quite honestly, if you could smash the like button, it will massively help out with the channel and my goal hitting 50,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Now let's jump right into the list. But before we jump right into the list, make sure to get your 2 free stocks when you sign up with Webull and deposit $100. These stocks are valued up to $1,600, so you're essentially getting free money just by depositing $100, and you can withdraw it right after you get your 2 free stocks. So number 1 on the list, we have e-commerce. Now this is very broad, and e-commerce just entails anything online, with online retail and anything that has to do with online sales. Now e-commerce is going to be huge in 2021, even before the entire lockdown. It was already growing exponentially, and only 2020 have already fast-tracked e-commerce to insanely explode in revenue and in sales going to 2021. So e-commerce was already growing at a steady rate and is absolutely exploding in 2021. E-commerce can basically entail dropshipping, Amazon FBA, wholesaling, any sort of physical goods to another customer from, like a website. So there's so many different paths and different opportunities inside the term e-commerce. It can, most people, when they hear e-commerce inside the dropshipping space, they think of Shopify, but there's so many other ways you can start dropshipping. For example, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Amazon. The term dropshipping is very vague, even under the term e-commerce. And since e-commerce has seen insane growth in 2020, it only makes sense that it will keep this pace up and will keep growing and generate more and more revenue each and every year going forward. So e-commerce is definitely something you need to check out, because e-commerce has never seen so much growth in this short amount of time. Every business is turning online, and for the businesses that aren't turning online, they're essentially losing money because everyone has turned online to look for their shopping needs. Now number 2, we have a agency, and more particular a marketing agency. Now a marketing agency is something also a bit vague as well. There's different terms of marketing. You could create websites, you can run ads, Facebook ads, Google SEO, YouTube ads, Snapchat ads, the list goes on. But the term marketing agency is very vague as well. So a marketing agency is something that is a bit tougher, than e-commerce usually, because you need to interact with clients. And if you are socially awkward, or you just suck at sales calls, I mean, everyone sucks at sales calls, but you just get better over time. But if you don't like talking to other people, this might not be you. But I still highly encourage you to try it out anyways, because you never know. Everyone starts at one point, and you can get better and better, and the agency route can be super lucrative compared to e-commerce or the other third one that you can stay tuned for. Now a marketing agency, just because it's a bit tougher, because it has all these moving parts to form an agency. You have the website, so you can get inbound leads, which are potential clients that's seen your website through organic search, or if you run Facebook ads, they'll come into your website and maybe book a meeting to talk to you and potentially become a client. And there are other moving parts like outreach. In the beginning, you're not going to get inbound leads unless you have client results to showcase. So you need to do some outreach, and outreach is going to be a huge time sucker, especially for the agency, because it just requires a lot of time sourcing leads, separating all these leads out and qualifying them, and then sending out emails, personalizing them to get the max amount of value out of your emails. Or your other outreach methods, like you could do cold calling, you could do Loom outreach, you could do LinkedIn and Instagram outreach as well. So essentially, this can be super lucrative, and if not more lucrative than the e-commerce business model, just because of the potential of this being you basically can get a ton of clients in the beginning in a short period of time, and just essentially you make it to 6 and 7 or 8 figures and beyond very quickly. But basically off that, there's a huge growing demand, especially for marketing, in terms of this shouldn't be something you should brush off, because more and more businesses, like I mentioned, in 2020 are turning online, meaning more businesses, more potential clients that you can reach out to and sign on, and all these businesses are going to need marketing. Just think about how are their business online that they just put their website online going to be found? It's going to be through marketing, through either ads or organic traffic, or managing social accounts. They need any type of marketing they can get. This, by far, an agency can be the fastest 1 to 6 and 7 figures and beyond. It's just facts. Just sign on 5 clients paying you $2,000 flat per month, which is very reasonable depending on the service you're providing. Even if you're providing ads, you can easily charge 5 to 6 to 8,000 depending on how much revenue and how much ad spend they're doing. So that is how you can essentially, if you sign on 5 clients paying you 2,000, which is very low in terms of the agency route, you're going to be earning 10,000 a month. Times that by 12, 120k just by signing on 5 clients, and you have the whole year to do so. So essentially, it can be super lucrative, and signing clients is sure a hard thing to do, but it gets better over time as you optimize the email campaigns. You get better at doing your prospecting, your outreach with your LinkedIn and inbound leads eventually. So essentially, the marketing agency route is very difficult, especially for newcomers. However, it can really pay off and completely change your life in just a very short period of time. Now, the last business model, online business out that is super lucrative and that can make you insanely rich in the coming years is YouTube. Now, maybe you think that YouTube already has a ton of competition, but I thought the same thing in 2017. And however, in 2017 I didn't get anywhere, and though I quit. And now seeing that there's so much opportunity out there, and even in 4 more years, people are still gonna think, oh, there's too much competition, I should have started 4 years ago, and 4 years ago is gonna be today, and today you should have started that YouTube channel that you should have told yourself to and gone forward with. Now, this is definitely a more fun business model. You get to create video. If you like creating video, talking to the camera, editing, creating thumbnails, if you like all that, this is definitely for you. But however, if you don't quite like it and you just want to go into YouTube just for the money, although you can't, it does seem like more and more people are going down that route. It is significantly better and significantly easier if you're doing it as a hobby, and you basically don't depend on YouTube as your main source of income in the beginning. Now, and basically that, if you really like talking and recording content, YouTube is a business in itself. YouTube basically has the audience, the second most traffic website on Google after google.com is YouTube, and Google owns YouTube. So essentially there's as much traffic as you can possibly get of everybody that's on the internet. YouTube is on there. or on as high as you basically can under Google, which is also owned by YouTube and Google. They're significantly the same thing. So essentially, YouTube can be extremely lucrative. However, it does require a ton of work. I would say so. It requires more work than an agency. However, the long-term effect, there are some YouTubers that grow to 100K in like 6 months or 3 months or some crazy amount of time. I know Dream, the Minecraft YouTuber, grew to 10 million in a year or so. So if he can do it, that just means there's potential for someone else to beat that record. So essentially, YouTube can be a business of itself and can be way more profitable than e-commerce, and also a agency as well, depending on the size of it. Now that wraps this video up for these 3 online businesses that you can essentially start right now today with minimum to not too much money, especially with the agency. It doesn't require too much. And the e-commerce, it depends on what direction you want to go. If you want to go into drop shipping, it requires about 5,000, depending on what platform you want to go. FBA, requires about 5,000 or so, and drop shipping with Shopify is about 2,000. So it really depends. Do your research. That wraps it up for this video. Make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the bell so you get notified when I upload the next video. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.